Hi there, you're watching Nightline with me, Nurin Razmyn. The top stories. MADANI tuition program launched to aid underprivileged students. And Health Ministry speeding up appointment of contract doctors to permanent positions. Good morning. We begin Nightline with this story. Local authorities must take proactive measures to ensure that the environment remains consistently clean and safe. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim emphasized that roadside littering not only creates breeding grounds for Aedes mosquitoes, but also poses serious health risks to nearby residents. Sultan Ibrahim expressed his concern over the matter in a Facebook post following a 3.2-kilometer morning walkabout along Jalan Gallagher in Kuala Lumpur on Saturday, where he personally inspected the cleanliness of the area. During the surprise inspection, the king expressed dismay at the sight of clogged drains and rubbish along the roadside. His Majesty also warned that large tree branches left on the road pose a danger to the public, especially motorcyclists at night. Accompanying Sultan Ibrahim during the walkabout were the Comptroller of the Istana Negara Royal Household, Tan Sri Azmi Rohaini, Grand Chamberlain Dato Azwan Effendi Zaira Kitnaini, and other palace staff. Responding to His Majesty's concerns, Kuala Lumpur Mayor Dato Seri Maimunah Muhammad Sharif clarified that the rubbish scattered along Jalan Gallagher was not the result of littering by the public, but caused by monkeys rummaging through unsecured bins. She also said that Kuala Lumpur City Hall, DBKL, has contacted Alam Flora, the company responsible for waste management services in the area, to increase the frequency of cleanup operations. DBKL has also requested that the existing bins be replaced with more secure ones. In addition, discussions will be held with the Department of Wildlife and National Parks to address the issue of monkey intrusion. Now, Terengganu has been chosen as the first state to implement the MADANI tuition program with an allocation of 5.27 million ringgit, which will benefit some 9,408 students and involve the assistance of 614 school teachers. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said Terengganu was chosen due to the excellent achievements shown by students in the state in public examination results.
9,408 pelajar di seluruh Terengganu. 9,000. Ini program pertama di Malaysia. Saya tidak pilih Pulau Pinang, saya tak pilih Perak, saya pilih negeri Terengganu Darul Iman.
Anwar added that the MADANI tuition program will be expanded to other states in the near future. The Prime Minister was speaking at the closing ceremony of the Terengganu People's MADANI Program 2025 at Pasar Kedai Payang in Kuala Terengganu. Anwar, who is also the Finance Minister, also praised Terengganu students for their outstanding achievements in both the Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia (SPM) and Sijil Tinggi Persekolahan Malaysia (STPM) examinations, calling it a source of pride that must be sustained. Meanwhile, during another event in Kuala Berang, the Prime Minister announced that the federal government has approved nearly 200 million ringgit to expedite coastal erosion mitigation efforts in Terengganu.
Saya ingat lagi bila Ketua Menteri Besar Dr. Samsuri sebut kepada saya, kita luluskan dalam keadaan yang segera, ya. Saya kita sekitar 200 juta ringgit untuk membantu menyegerakan kerja-kerja, dan saya ucap sekali lagi tahniah kepada jabat-jabatan termasuk KR.
3 projects have previously been approved under the 12th Malaysia Plan to address the issue of the coastal erosion in the state. The Coastal Protection Project in Kuala Nurus is expected to be completed by September 2026, while 2 more projects are scheduled to begin in early 2027. At another event in Hulu, Terengganu, Anwar said Tasik Kenyir is set to become a major local and international investment hub with the launch of two major green energy projects, the hybrid hydro floating solar HHFS and green hydrogen hub. The Prime Minister said the projects will not only accelerate Malaysia's clean energy goals but also generate new job opportunities for the local community.
Ditambah dengan permulaan kerjasama dua gegasi Petronas dan TNB untuk menakodai satu projek asal solar dan sekarang hidrogen hijau. Ini semua yang merupakan beberapa penyelidikan yang mengarah kepada tenaga alternatif baru, bersih dan hijau.
The Prime Minister was speaking at the launch of the two projects at the Sultan Mahmud Power Station in Kenyir. The project, the first of its kind in the country, is located within the Kenyir-Kerteh corridor. It aims to harness renewable energy potential while upgrading TNB's power grid infrastructure in Kenyir alongside leveraging Petronas's existing facilities and networks. The initiative is also set to position Malaysia as a future regional hub for green energy and cross-border power trade. Later, during another engagement on Saturday evening, the Prime Minister confirmed that his meeting with ministers and members of Parliament from Barisan Nasional on Friday night centered around pressing national matters. These include the upcoming Parliament sitting and issues related to the judiciary.
Dan saya terangkan beberapa isu termasuk soal cadangan cukai. Kerana banyak kabar-kabar angin tentang RON 95 berdasarkan beberapa cadangan awal yang Jemaah Menteri tidak setuju. Jadi biar kita selesaikan bab itu, kemudian bab Badan Kehakiman, itu kita jelaskan.
He spoke to the media after a gathering with over 2,000 PKR members during an event in Kuala Nurus. The Prime Minister also held closed-door discussions with PKR division chiefs from Terengganu, Kelantan and Pahang. Last night's closed-door meeting with several BN ministers and lawmakers took place at the Seri Perdana Complex in Putrajaya. The Health Ministry, MOH, is in the process of expediting the transition of contract medical officer appointments to permanent positions. Its Minister, Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad, said the move aims to resolve the long-standing issue of contract doctor appointments and to address the critical shortage of medical practitioners in the country.
Saya kira hari ini kita sudah sampai semacam melihat kepada hujung-hujung interim era contract workers. Saya sebagai menterinya pasti mahukan, saya telah sebutkan kepada Yang Berhormat Menteri yang setuju dengan KSN, PKC membawa hal ini, ya, di mana kita boleh convert contract workers dan adanya penjawatan, kita akan segera lakukan. Kita tidak akan lengahkan.
Speaking to the media at an event in Kuala Lumpur on Saturday, Zulkifli added that the government is also working on establishing guidelines to retain doctors, specialists and trained nurses within the public healthcare system. However, he noted that his ministry does not have the legal authority to prevent medical professionals from seeking employment abroad. This includes in Singapore, which allows cross-border recruitment under the ASEAN Framework Agreement on Services. He said this in response to renewed calls by the Malaysian Medical Association, MMA, which urges the government to abolish the contract system altogether, citing its negative impact on morale and long-term career progression within the public healthcare sector. Meanwhile, the MMA has welcomed the Health Minister's commitment to ending the contract system and expediting permanent placements. Its President, Dato' Dr. Karlwinder Singh Khaira, stressed that job security and clear career pathways are vital to retain doctors, adding that training structure, allowances and emoluments must also be reviewed.
And I think this is something that will go very far in retaining our doctors, because as MMA has always said, job security and career progression are something which are vital. Some of the other things that MMA has said are the training structure, the training pathways for our junior doctors must be clearer, and this also needs to be looked into.
Dr. Kalwinder also described retaining doctors and nurses as a national priority that requires urgent attention. He also urged for continuous engagement between the government and medical associations to address remaining challenges and ensure a sustainable healthcare workforce. In another development, civil service and health unions have praised the government's decision to maintain the 42-hour workweek for shift-based healthcare staff, calling it a boost in morale and service quality. Commenting on the move, the Congress of Unions and Employees in the Public and Civil Services Malaysia QPAX believes it will help ensure public health services remain at the highest standard. Its president, Dato' Adnan Mat, said the move also safeguards the physical, mental and emotional well-being of frontliners and reflects the government's willingness to listen to union concerns. Meanwhile, Malayan Nurses Union President Saida Athman described the decision as a morale booster that will motivate staff to continue providing the best service to the people.
Saya percaya dengan pengumuman ini akan memberikan motivasi kepada seluruh jururawat di Malaysia agar dapat memberikan perkhidmatan kesihatan yang terbaik.
She said the decision was the result of negotiations since last November and a sign of the government's care for the welfare of healthcare workers. On Friday, the Public Service Department announced that over 82,000 health staff under 5 critical service schemes in the Health Ministry would be exempted from the 45-hour shift requirement under the Civil Service Remuneration System. Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani described his appointment of Acting Minister of National Resources and Environment as a duty to the country. He said the responsibility is to ensure the ministry's operations run smoothly, especially ahead of the upcoming Parliament session scheduled to begin on July 21st. Johari was entrusted by the Prime Minister to temporarily assume the role until a new appointment is made. The vacancy arose following Razmyn Ahmad's resignation effective July 4th after losing in the PKR party elections last May.
Jadi sudah tu nak kena lantik orang tu untuk selesaikan dalam masa terdekat. Jadi sebab tu dia bagi jawatan ni sebagai pemangku untuk menyelesaikan isu-isu yang sangat kritikal dalam masa 1-2 bulan 3 bulan ni.
Johari was met by reporters after officiating the Kuantan UMNO Division Delegates meeting in Pahang on Saturday. Chief Secretary to the government Tan Sri Shamsul Azhar Abu Bakar, in a statement on Friday, said that the cabinet had agreed that Johari will carry out the roles and functions of the Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability Minister effective immediately. Datuk Seri Amir Hamzah Azizan, meanwhile, has been serving as the acting economy minister since June 26, in addition to his current role as second finance minister. He replaces Datuk Seri Rafizi Ramli, who resigned effective July 17th. Police have launched an investigation into a controversial motivational program held at a convention center in Shah Alam, Selangor recently, which is said to have promoted immoral activities. So far, 1 female participant and several other witnesses have been called in to have their statements recorded. The investigation follows a viral social media post by a woman who claimed the event, held from September 27th to 30th last year, allegedly featured nudity and rituals suspected to be of a deviant or un-Islamic nature. The woman also alleged that participants were given a mysterious beverage on the final day of the program, which allegedly affected their mood and caused some participants to behave differently. According to Shah Alam Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Muhammad Iqbal Ibrahim, the woman in question was a participant, and the police report was lodged in February this year by her 39-year-old husband.
Pihak polis telah menerima laporan berkaitan dengan insiden yang berlaku dalam program E-Hati berlangsung di IDCC Session 15 Shah Alam pada September tahun lepas. Pihak polis telah terima laporan berkaitan kejadian ini pada Februari tahun ini dan pihak kami sedang memanggil beberapa individu-individu yang terlibat dalam insiden ini.
Investigations are being conducted in collaboration with the Selangor Islamic Religious Department JAIS. Police have also urged anyone with evidence of the alleged incidents, including photos or videos, to come forward and assist in the investigation. Now, Selangor Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Amiruddin Syari has clarified that the E-Hati program was a privately organised event and had no connection with the state government.
Kita tak pasti pasal benda ni setahun lepas laporan pun baru diterima. Jadi saya minta untuk pihak Jabatan Agama Islam dan sebagainya siasat dan ambil tindakan yang tegas sebab ia dianjurkan secara private di dalam dewan dan sebagainya. Kita pun dia tidak melibatkan negeri.
He said JAIS has been instructed to conduct a full investigation and take appropriate action if necessary. At the same time, Amiruddin has also called on the police to investigate the management of the convention centre that hosted the program. Syndicates issuing fake work permits busted. This and more after the breather.
Ada drama barulah kat Facebook. Nak download lah tu. Ingat jangan download ataupun share laman web cetak rompak. Jangan.
Nightline continues. The Immigration Department has successfully dismantled two syndicates known as Zakir and Shahid, which were involved in illegal immigration services related to the renewal of temporary employment visit passes, PLKS, for foreign nationals. This follows the arrest of 6 individuals in 2 separate raids conducted in the capital last Thursday. Immigration Director General Datuk Zakaria Shaban said the first operation was carried out in Jalan Pudu. 3 Bangladeshi men aged between 40 and 50, believed to be the mastermind and middlemen of the Zakir syndicate, were arrested. The syndicate is believed to have offered PLKS renewal services for foreign workers, charging between 2,500 and 6,000 ringgit per application. A total of 130 Bangladeshi passports, 3 Indonesian passports and 3 mobile phones were also seized. In the second operation in Ampang Baru, 2 Pakistani men and a Myanmar national, believed to be the middlemen for the Shahid syndicate, were arrested. They had allegedly offered services to process PLKS application for fees ranging from 80 to 500 ringgit. Further inspection led to the discovery of 5 passports from various countries, 24 suspected forged Malaysia Pass stickers, and 5 mobile phones. Both syndicates had been operating for about a year, targeting foreigners in the Klang Valley seeking to renew or obtain PLKS permits. All suspects have been taken to the Putrajaya Immigration Office for further action, while another Bangladeshi man was issued a notice to assist in the probe. A religious secondary school teacher's journey home ended in tragedy when her car collided with a lorry near Marang Pahan on Saturday. The victim, 28-year-old Nur Farah Izyan Ismail, died at the scene. District Police Chief Superintendent Wong Kim Wai said the accident occurred at around 9:30 a.m. along Jalan Besar Jengke 20. The victim was driving home from Sekolah Menengah Agama Al-Basriah in Jerantut to Sungai Gau, Termelo. Her car is believed to have lost control and skidded into the opposite lane before colliding with the oncoming lorry. The 51-year-old lorry driver, along with 2 attendants, aged 25 and 43, were injured and taken to Jungka Hospital for treatment. Nurfara Izyan's body was also sent to the same hospital for post-mortem. Police are tracking down a man in connection with a road rage incident on Jalan Lebu Pantai in Georgetown, Pulau Pinang. The incident, believed to have occurred on Friday evening, went viral after it was caught on video. According to Timur Laut District Police Deputy Chief Lee Swee Sake, a 25-year-old man lodged a report at 7:55 p.m. the same day. The incident occurred when the complainant's vehicle was struck by a car driven by the suspect. The suspect then exited his vehicle, retrieved a metal rod, and struck the rear door of the complainant's car, causing damage estimated at 3,000 ringgit. Police have identified the man and are working to track him down, and the case is being investigated under the Penal Code for mischief. U.S. State Department begins mass layoffs. The details when Nightline returns.
Mula-mula saya operate bisul. Saya bangun pagi nak ke tandas, jatuh. Angkat tangan, lembik terus. Terus call ambulans, masuk balik hospital, scan apa semua, doktor sahkan stroke.
Musibah ni orang kata terlalu berat. Penat, memang penat lah. Sampai orang kata diri sendiri pun tak terurus kan. Mana nak fikir tanggungjawab sebagai seorang ibu.
Seluruh Johor ada isu interaksi manusia dan gajah ni.
Ini kita tengok dia punya telinga. Kalau telinganya basah, dia tengah naik minyak.
Gajah ni membesar di sana dan ingatan dia di sana, dia tidak akan sesat.
Kita tahu bila kita cakap tentang isu gajah ni, dia bukan isu saya. Dia sebenarnya adalah isu setempat. Sebab gajah dia akan melalui kawasan yang luas.
Tanyalah Ustaz minggu ini. Isnin, zakat simpanan. Selasa, disiplin solat. Rabu, hijrah hati. Kamis, surah Al-Qasas ayat 20 hingga 28. Jumaat, sebelum akad dilafaz. Ahad, cinta sesama saudara. Tanyalah Ustaz biar tahu jangan keliru di TV3 dan TV9. Stream juga ditonton.
News from the foreign front. A preliminary report has found that the fuel control switches to the engines of the Air India plane involved in a deadly crash that killed 260 passengers were cut off moments after takeoff. The report issued by India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, AAIB, early on Saturday, however, did not offer any conclusions or apportion blame for the June 12th disaster. According to data from the flight recorder, both of the plane's fuel control switches shifted from the run to the cutoff position within a second, shortly after takeoff. These switches are typically used to shut down the engines after landing or in emergencies rather than during takeoff. After the switches flipped, the Boeing 787 Dreamliner immediately began to lose thrust and descend as confusion broke out in the cockpit, with one pilot asking the other why the fuel had been shut off, a claim the other pilot denied. The report did not say how the switches could have flipped to the cutoff position during the flight. An investigation led by AAIB is ongoing, with a final, more detailed report expected in 12 months. The plane was headed from Ahmedabad in western India to London when it crashed shortly after takeoff. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that the European Union, EU, and Mexico will face a 30% tariff on imports to the country from August 1st. Trump also warned that even higher import taxes could be imposed if either trading partner decides to retaliate. The announcement was made through two separate letters posted on Trump's Truth Social website, one citing Mexico's role in the flow of illicit drugs into the U.S., and the other addressing a trade imbalance with the EU. EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen criticized the new tariff threat, but said the EU still hopes to reach an agreement with Washington to avoid the measures. Still in the U.S., more than 1,300 State Department employees were fired in a downsizing ordered by President Donald Trump and touted as cutting bloated government. A State Department official said 1,107 members of civil service and 246 Foreign Service diplomatic employees were terminated in Friday's mass layoff. According to newspaper The Washington Post, State Department employees were informed of their firings by email. Civil service employees will be separated after 60 days, while Foreign Service officers will lose their jobs 120 days after receiving the notice and will be immediately placed on administrative leave. The layoffs at the department came 3 days after the Supreme Court cleared the way for the Trump administration to begin carrying out its plan to gut entire government departments.
All right. I thought we had an order, but now we have a...
In other news, indirect talks between Hamas and Israel for a ceasefire in Gaza are being held up by Israel's proposal to keep troops in the territory. Both sides have indicated that 10 living hostages taken on that day and still in captivity would be released if a 60-day ceasefire agreement is reached. However, a Palestinian source said Saturday that Hamas has not accepted the withdrawal maps which Israel has proposed, as they would leave about 40% of the territory under Israeli occupation, including all of Rafah and further territories in northern and eastern Gaza. Mediators have asked both sides to postpone the talks until the arrival of U.S. President Donald Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff in Doha. Meanwhile, in Gaza, at least 17 people trying to get food aid were killed when Zionist troops opened fire. Switching to sports now, football. Now, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has announced an allocation of 1 million ringgit to the Kuala Lumpur Football Association, KLFA, in support of efforts to revitalize football in the capital city. Speaking at KLFA's 50th Jubilee celebration at Connection Bangsar South on Saturday night, Anwar said the government consistently encourages the development of football and that emphasis should be placed on infrastructure as a fundamental aspect in advancing the sport.
Kita sebagai kerajaan harus beri perhatian. Saya bernasib baik, inilah satu-satunya majlis saya hadir, siapa pun tak minta dana. Kuala Lumpur ini juga merupakan basis perjuangan kita, tapak kita, universiti kami dulu. Jadi oleh itu oleh kerana tak mohon, saya bagilah RM1 juta cukup dulu.
In his speech, Anwar also acknowledged football's wider influence on society, noting concerns about hooliganism and stressing the sport's potential as a platform for unity and national pride. He also reminded football associations that they should ensure that sportsmanship and unity is upheld among supporters and players. Moving on to motorsports and the 2025 Asia Road Racing Championship. National rider Muhammad Izam Iqmal produced a sensational ride in Japan, winning race 1 of the Asia Production 250 or AP250 class during round 3 at the Twin Ring Motorgate circuit on Saturday. Representing Victor Racing, Izam put on a dominant performance, especially on the final lap to edge out Japan's Ryota Ogirawa of Sanwa Racing, while Indonesia's Muhammad Murobil Vitoni finished third. Izam's victory was Malaysia's only win in race 1 across all classes, further strengthening the country's reputation as a top contender. Meanwhile, in the premier ASB 1000 class, Malaysians Azwar Hakim Anwar and Muhammad Zakwan Zaidi secured second and third places for Idemitsu Honda Racing Malaysia, with Japan's Kito Abe taking the win. In the Supersport 600, Kasma Daniel Kasmayudin also made the podium, finishing second behind Thailand's Anupab Sarmun. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at visuals from Belgium's De Wijers Nature Reserve, where the cycling through water path lets visitors ride along a 200-meter trail between 2 ponds at eye level. With that, I'm Nurin Razmyn. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your weekend.